What up, YouTube? Coming at you today with another quick video. Thank you for checking out TRTT, the Real Talk Tony. We're just going to jump right into this one today. Today's video is going to be titled Running Out of Time. So what it is relationship statuses. Relationships are very, very important, and it's important that you secure you a good relationship, in my opinion, when you are at the most value and the most looked at, desired in your life. So with that all being said, a lot of people tend to procrastinate and hold the relationships off so that they can get this at work and they can get this promotion to get that degree, which necessarily is not your best friend. People do these things all the time and it hinders them later on, versus you also have people who do the exact opposite. They still get married while they're building, and they deal with a marriage and a person with them versus trying to do it on their own and doing it independent. Let's jump right into this video with Kevin Samuels and see what he has to say.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Good. You were on last week, weren't you?
I was. My sound cut out.
All right. What do you got for me?
So I do want to get your advice on when we should, as women, think about freezing our eggs and just really
freezing them.
I'm sorry.
When you should think about freezing them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I would say you want to defer.
His face. I'm not really sure. I don't know too much information or health issues associated with freezing your eggs. The first thing I just am curious of is what's wrong with the natural way of doing things. I understand that there are issues that come about to where IVF and things like that are necessary and possible. However, I believe that when people freeze their eggs, it leaves too many options open to be a single parent. Grasp what I'm saying. If you're in a committed relationship and you're with somebody and y'all wait to have kids later on, that's one thing. There's still health risk associated with that, geriatric pregnancies and whatnot, but however, it's not always the case. I want to freeze my eggs just in case I don't meet somebody soon enough that I can have kids. So if you don't meet somebody while you're dating who wants to have a child with you, then that means you still will have the option of having children without a parent. And we all see the consequences of single parent households. I mean, look at how things are today in the world. Single parent households have definitely, people do the best you can do, but to choose to be in that situation is kind of weird. I have 2 children, very challenging at times. I don't know what I would do without my wife. No idea what I'd do without her helping me out with these kids around here. And I would assume she did the same, but I don't understand why a person would choose that. But I mean, I'm kind of off the rails just talking here. Let's just get back.
Well, I'm looking at a medical professional. How old are you?
I'm 31.
Still young?
In a relationship?
I'm not.
Well, I mean, I can't really say on an individual level.
Then let me rephrase that. She is young to the aspect that 31 is young, but you're getting old to be chosen. See, this is why she's asking, because she's 31 years old. In my opinion, it's if we would have had babies at 24 and 22 and 23, when people were more chasing you, that's fine. But a lot of people want to live that life, want to be single, want to be free, want to enjoy life. You know, they want to do all that hot girl summer stuff and not have kids, but then think that they're going to come back around at 31 and then approach a man that they want because they've now changed standards and weeded out all the crap. They're gonna pick out a man. They're just gonna go pull one off the bush, and not necessarily always going to happen. So then we start getting into freezing eggs, because I'm not having children now because I'm not in relationships. And if that doesn't work, I still want to be a parent.
But what are you freezing your eggs for?
I'm thinking about freezing my eggs just because I'm not dating. I'll be done with my RN program in about a year and a half from now.
Not dating isn't a reason to freeze eggs.
I might have waited too long to.
That's the reason.
Take getting into a relationship serious.
So how's freezing eggs going to change that?
It's not.
I don't think it's going to change that, but I do want kids, and so I do know that I'm getting up there in age, and I not that there's anything wrong with being a.
So you freeze your eggs.
She's going down the same path as I am. I'm thinking.
Program by age 33.
33.
How long do you think before you're married?
goal is to get married.
Put a number to it. You're out of school at 33 and you haven't dated. How long?
I want to be married by 35.
Uh-huh. So, if you found somebody on your graduation day, you would need to be married. So, from your graduation day to the age 35 is 2 years. You got 2 years to find somebody. All right, well, how long you going to be married before you start trying to get pregnant?
Probably right away.
So you need to at least
It's
be
not
married
that
within a
much,
year,
you know,
and
it's
so
just- I just have it down.
I'm just saying.
Pregnancy's
based upon
9
what you're
months.
saying, I'm just running the numbers. At 35, you want to no honeymoon, no time to get to know each other. Just go straight to having babies.
Well, no, but I do feel like when you are getting to know
I'm just understanding. You get married, you said right away. So IVF is a manual procedure.
Mm-hmm.
So do you plan? When do you plan on?
I'm just saying.
I'm just doing the basic numbers. I get it, but see, freezing your eggs is a concept. It's just like you listen. You having a degree is a concept, but there's a curriculum, and things are done in order. And a lot of times, you ladies don't fill in the paper. And what you're having a problem with is I'm asking, fill in the blanks. How long? Well, I don't have anybody seriously, so all things remaining equal, we won't have anybody seriously in the next year and a half.
So Kevin's hitting the nail on the head. There's not enough thought that goes into the future planning of these decisions. And then once you do not have, if you have things in line, hey, I'll be done with my RN in the next 2 years, and then I'll start dating and I'll do all that. If you have things in line, it might bring a reality that, this might not be the best decision, or it could be the best decision. But it could also, if you just wing it, you're going to end up being later on using your eggs in not such a good situation. So if you wanted to have kids by the age of 34, but yet you're not wanting, or 35, but you're not graduating until 33 and don't want to date till after that, maybe you should just reevaluate and maybe start dating in nursing school. In school when you're around these other people. So if you're in nursing school, you'll be dating people. I met my wife when she was in nursing school. You'll be around people who are also in the medical profession who are growing. But typically at 31, you don't want to build a boo. You want to be a 31-year-old nursing student, show up with your 22 and 23-year-old nursing students, and you want to just go up there and see this doctor that's already established and think, oh, he's gonna come after me, when he has a younger, less damaged, I'm going to freeze my eggs personality to deal with. It just doesn't work. It'd be a better chance of you going up into there and meeting another nursing student that's close to your age who is in the same category as you, and you all date and link together, and then, have a family, after marriage and all that. That's a better option, but you just maybe you should just reevaluate what you're doing and put some actual thought into this plan.
The reason you want to freeze your eggs because you're in school. All right, you graduate by 33. How long before you're married? 2 years? I give you that. But then the day you're married, how long before you start family planning?
So now you're 35.
You said right away. So to me, that means when you get back from the honeymoon. Yes or no?
Yes, you're right.
All right.
I guess I should have asked a better question. I guess my question should have been, do you think it's a good idea to freeze your eggs for a backup plan?
Ooh, see?
In case something doesn't. In case I don't get married. In case
Who's
I don't.
going
No.
Backup? What's the backup plan?
Big no. I don't believe it's ideal to intentionally raise a kid in a single family household. It's not. There's a lot of negatives associated with that, which is things that people should think about when they're in marriages and relationships before they consider divorce. Divorce is always the easiest thing to throw out, and it's always easy. Oh, we're going to go get divorced, pay some money, separate, finances. But if you have a family, the effects that it can have on your children, a divorce, and then living in a single-parent household and all that, it can definitely affect things. I mean, look at some of these communities to where single moms get the children all the time, but the kids are reading on freaking elementary school level. That's not helping the kids out. Other people are raising the kids. The kids are always in daycare. The kids are in school. The kids don't eat right. It's definitely not the best. And besides that, typically single parent households are women. Not as often as it men. The separation is something women tend to get to children. Men have a different level, and if you're a good man, have a different level of structure and accountability associated. So having the man in the household is a definite strong point. Men are not, they shouldn't be optional like society has made them. I can do everything, I can do this, I don't need a man. You're absolutely insane. You can build a house with no roof on it. That's just not the best idea to do. You can do it, but why would you do that?
Backup plan. Like if I don't.
Meaning as a backup plan. Meaning being a single mother.
No, I don't want to be a single mother. I don't want.
So what's the backup plan?
I'm saying freezing my eggs as a backup plan.
Okay, but the backup plan means.
I see what you're saying.
What's the backup plan? Are you going to be married or not? Which one is it?
So
See,
I guess
this is what this conversation just showed you got and the way a man's mind think is, why are you guys going through all these Herculean efforts instead of just trying to become a wife and become fit right now and do this right now?
No, I am doing it right now. I am. I'm going on a hike tomorrow. I've already set out my gym schedule. I've been vegan for 2 years.
But you're 31 now.
Where's the man?
I'm negating that. I'm sorry.
Where's the man?
I haven't met anybody, so I was in.
That's my point. That's my point. Everything you talked about, IVF, school, there's no man, and I'm sorry, the simplest thing should be for a woman to make herself available for a man. None of the stuff you're talking about is tied to a man.
It should be a priority.
Where's the date? Where's the last time you had a date?
I went on a date last week.
When was the last time you had a relationship?
A year ago. A little over a year ago.
How long did it last?
It was a year.
Seem to be going good?
Were you guys in the same city? Was it long distance? What?
We were in the same city. We lived together. We just had different views on kids at the time. And so we decided,
What about all in your 20s, though?
In my 20s, I spent 7 years with the wrong person.
Oh. This is where your mothers and your fathers, if you were present in these things, this is where your parents failed you. Unless you're just being rebellious. If your parents are giving you the right direction and telling you to prioritize a relationship and a man, that's absolutely wonderful. But if your parents allowed this and was okay with this, because I know a lot of people whose parents don't allow them to do the crazy stuff they do, and then later on in life when things fall apart, they tend to want to blame everybody else for not all these, rescue efforts while they were in a bad situation that people knew. Sometimes you make your bed, you sleep in it. You got to learn from your own mistakes first. But 7 years with somebody, I don't know how old this person was, but if you're a grown man and you're 35 years old and you were dating somebody 7 years ago, that would have put her at about 24. Her last relationship was a year before that, so that'll put her down to 23. What are you doing? This is how you mess people up. This is how you make people. She's if she didn't get therapy from that, she's going to need it. But what are you doing? 7 years with the wrong person. Now, in the next relationship, you're in there for a year. I'd ask, why'd you date somebody for 7 years? And if you're pushing that I put a ring on you, I'm just thinking, well, why didn't this dude want to marry you? I mean, that's how dude. Bye. I mean, this is why you don't do these things. This is why these decisions that you make like this have consequences as you grow.
I was in a 7-year relationship with the same person, and
well. So this is why IVF tends to. I'm saying to have the conversation because so many women talk about freezing their eggs, but you don't fill in the plan. You don't fill it in. It's like, I'll freeze my eggs for a backup. That's why I said the other day, what's the backup plan? I'll take them out of the freezer and I'll go get a sperm donor and I'll become a single mother. That's really the backup plan for most women. Because otherwise, you still got to have a man
to fertilize those frozen eggs.
My thought process behind freezing my eggs was in case I did meet somebody and I'm past the limit to have good eggs. That was my original thinking about.
I get it.
But it leaves the doorway open for the opposite.
My issue with that is, as a backup plan, it gives women a false sense of security, like they have time.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing with that, and I definitely feel like I don't have any more time, not a lot of time.
So, what about cost associated with? So, let's just assume you found a man, 35. The chances of these things happening successfully are 50-50. Do you have the $36,000, the 24 to $50,000?
So I was thinking $25,000.
I will when I'm graduated.
You graduated at 33. So you're going to have $24,000 to $50,000 saved in 2 years?
That's my goal. Probably a little after.
Jeez, people now think $24,000 to save. That's $1,000 a year. $1,000 a year. I mean, that's $1,000 a month. $12,000 a year. $24,000. You got to be making money. Do you understand that? That's $24,000. Most people averagely earn. If you're earning $70,000, you'll earn $75,000 maybe as a nurse. So that's putting away 1/3 of your income. 1/3. You ain't a nurse yet. You're not a nurse yet. That's possibly, if you're only making $40,000, that's well over half your. It sounds good.
Start working because I won't have to.
Do you have any savings now?
Yes.
Over $10,000?
A little bit, not too much.
Okay, so. Man.
It's saved to get me through school, though. So
you're going to use it.
You'd have nothing. You'd have nothing. So think about what you just said. 24 to 50,000.
I'm considering working so that I didn't have to touch
Time out.
But then you're going to work. So you're not working. I'm considering working so I didn't have to touch the $10,000 that I already have saved. So if you're not working, you're not going to be able to add to the $10,000 to make it to 24. You're not going to be able to add $14,000 more. That $10,000 you have, you're going to be pinching off of it. See, like I said, this is what happens when you do not plan things out. Men, we're typically that planner and that structure. Just from me talking, I'll start throwing all kind of stuff out. And I'm like, and Kevin's doing the same. And she's just like, I never thought about it.
These are all Herculean methods. None of this makes sense to me. I'm going to graduate, and then I'm going to... Now, when most people have a problem even getting $5,000, you're going to stock away $25,000 to $50,000.
Yeah. And those numbers were low on the $24,000 side.
And we're going to just get rid of all of it on IVF. If it works. And if it doesn't work, that money doesn't come back. Well, see, let me finish now. I'm saying this so ladies can start to understand. The way y'all talk about this stuff is
like it's guaranteed.
And there's a foregone conclusion that it all works. When it will make more sense as a man to say, all right, if the natural way is meeting a man and getting married and doing it the old-fashioned way, when you're still young enough to do all that, that would make more sense. It's cheaper and it's more effective. But I can't find a man. All right, then you need to fix that problem.
Fix that issue.
It's time to go freeze eggs and worry about paying for something that you can't afford.
Exactly. I mean, hammer meets nail. I mean, you couldn't have said that even any better. Fix that issue. Fix that issue. And then, we wouldn't be in this position to where we're at. I mean, just fix that issue. It's kind of crazy that a person will go this far because of if I don't find somebody. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder.
I mean, think about. Did you really think about the cost associated with it and the time frame?
I did think about the cost and the time frame is what had me a little kind of like, but my main goal is to find somebody and do it the old-fashioned way. But at my age, I'm just getting a little worried, and so I kind of wanted to just get your take on it because I do feel like you give a lot of valuable information.
Well, I mean, it's always. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not an option, but it's just not the best option.
Not the best option.
My first thing is, you said you were with the wrong person for 7 years. What age did you end that relationship?
23.
Yeah, you were a kid then, I
From
guess.
16 to 23
No, from 23
To 30.
to
I think
30.
when I was 23.
A year ago,
Oh,
from 23
I
to 30.
probably younger then, because I just turned 31, and I was with my ex for a year. So I
22?
probably met him at 22 then.
22 to 29.
All
Yeah,
your
but
prime
I-
years. Don't waste your
last
prime years.
Boyfriend when right before I turned 30. So yeah.
And he didn't want to. And what was the disconnect with you guys?
Just the we both wanted children, but we just had a disagreement on vaccinating.
On what?
On vaccinating the children.
Vaccinating future children?
He's very strict on he would rather not vaccinate, and I would rather vaccinate. So that was kind of the disagreement we were having.
I don't know if that's a deal breaker or not. I don't think so. However, my wife and I meet eye to eye on what that is. We have good discussions over what's best for the children. We see kind of close to that, but I don't think I wouldn't be 30 and drop the ability to have a family over kids that I don't have. Arguing over kids you don't have. You might have kids. I don't know about that one.
So you're with somebody for a year, a valuable year, and y'all broke up because of possible vaccination to possible future children.
Well,
Yeah.
he says that he just needed time for himself, so that was why we
All right.
broke up.
Because he probably was like, nah.
So okay. So I'm trying to understand is why the relationships aren't working. You said the first one.
Yeah, when I
it
talked
didn't
to
work.
him, I'm sorry.
You said the first one you were with the wrong person for 7 years. I'm not going to go into that one. But this last person, you said y'all broke up because of different views on kids, but now you're changing the story.
It was an encompass of those two things, just him wanting time for himself after I kind of brought it up, and then he asked me why I wouldn't reconsider right away, and I told him our views on
Reconsider what?
getting back together.
So he tried to come back?
So he reached out, and I was talking to him about some of the things that were concerning me. And the vaccination with the kids was important because I do want to be a mom. And so he was saying that he really wasn't willing to budge at first.
So that's one of the challenges that modern women run into today, right? I understand people fight for this equality and all that. When two people go down a road together and they are on the same path, that's great. But sometimes those paths intercede. They're going to cross. And we have to make a decision over, are we going to go right because the husband says, or we're going to go left because the wife says? And if there's something flexible, like, I don't care, I'll go left, I'll take your direction, I'll go this way. That's one. But if it's a die-hard thing, who has the end-all, be-all word? I would say Dad. And obviously, she would rather end the relationship than the man make that decision. My personal thought is, in those situations, if I go my path and it's right, I made the right call. If I go the other path, if I go my path and it's right, it's the right call. If I go my path and it took something more challenging, I feel that you still make the right call because the call you made was not made with bad intentions. The call was typically made, it should be made with the best interest of your family and yourself. So it's not like there was ill will in this decision. So I believe that the correct thing for your spouse to do would be saying, thank you for going down this road to light. And even though we took this road and it's a little darker, I'm still by your side. I'm not going to jump on your back about the wrong decision. I'm just going to support you and help go down this road because you made the best decision you could. Every single decision is not going to be perfect or ideal. Just know that you're supported through the decision. This isn't what you have here. She didn't want to. She's single and she's talking about freezing an eggs, and she has a potential dater reach back out to her. And her answer is she brings the vaccination back up. So she'd rather be single than to flex. She'd rather be single and have no kids than to flex on this. I wouldn't reach out to her again.
And so I told him it didn't make sense to go forward because I think that's a big thing. And I'm a nursing student, so I know how important it is to vaccinate.
Okay, I'm just. Well, as a man, what I hear is all this complexity, dating modern women. Why is that even a question that you're handling? Okay.
Dating.
How long after you said you were talking about it for 7 years?
Yes.
And then y'all broke up. How long were you broke up before you started dating the next guy?
I had knew him for a while before I broke up.
How long were you broke up before you started dating the next guy?
Give me the answer. 6 months.
There's the answer right there.
You didn't have no time to work on that.
No
No
time
therapy.
off, no healing, none of that. Then you jump into a friend relationship with somebody, and you go straight. You don't really even take time to heal. You don't date, and this is what happens too often. You ladies crave comfort instead of compatibility. And then what I'm hearing is you're not married, and this is an issue. He doesn't want to vaccinate. You don't want to vaccinate. All right, then why are you dating somebody solely? Why aren't you dating multiple people? See, the end result ends in wife. And if you're dating one person at a time, just like the previous person, you don't have enough time to make that many mistakes.
You can't make year-long mistakes.
This is where you guys get into a problem because you run out of time. And now you're in a position where it's like, well, now what I do? Well, you got to date more people. I mean, what should have happened in earlier years, you shouldn't have been with that person for 7 years. You should have dated enough people, or should have figured out what you wanted, and what kind of lifestyle you wanted, and all those kind of things. And then made yourself the best version of yourself to attract that kind of a man. But I don't see, this is too complex, man. There's a lot of moving pieces. And if you were with somebody for a year and y'all broke up over vaccinations, I'm like, y'all arguing about kids that you don't have?
Yeah.
And then he said he reached out and he wanted to get back together. You wanted to get back together, or he wanted to get together?
I think it was a mutual thing. Like we both, it wasn't a bad relationship. I think we just needed to work through those issues. But they're not, I don't feel like they're small issues when it comes to the health of children.
You don't have them. You don't have a kid yet.
But it's,
this is all theoretical. You don't even know, man. It makes no sense to me. I'll be honest.
Well,
it sounds kind of no. Huh?
I'm calling in to get your opinion because I am 31 and I'm out of time, and I'm just trying. Based on your content, it just seems like you say you should talk about those big things before you get married. And
you should talk about them, but you should talk about them early on, not a year into dating one person. If it's a deal breaker, you break it, you move on. But see, you don't wait a year to talk about important things because you wasted a year. Honestly, the position you put yourself in, man, if I'm going to be honest, freezing your eggs sounds like you ain't going to turn into a single mother. Because your options for men, from what you're telling me right now, they don't exist. But what you do know is you have eggs, and it'll be easier to go get a sperm donor, and it'll be cheaper than IVF. And this is what happens far too often. Women actually end up choosing to become single mothers because they don't have a viable husband.
Yeah.
And you can't. And can you tell me 100% that you would absolutely not become a single mother?
No, I don't want to raise kids like that.
All right. Well then, there you go. So if that's the case, you need the man first. All this other stuff is shadows of the forest. And that's what I'm ultimately getting to. If you're not going to be a single mother, then you got to have a man.
Yeah, if you're not going to be a single mother, don't even go that route.
And I'm doing this for
do not recommend being a single mother.
You need to get better at knowing what works for you, what you need, what your deal breakers are, and getting that stuff out on the table as soon as possible. Because, ladies, you got to get the major parts of your life together sooner. Because eventually life starts making choices for you. So I know it may not be what you want to hear.
See, I fully agree with Kevin on this. You do get those deal breakers and those big things out there. If you know those big things and then you stay after that, I find them nonsense to break up over later. So it's, for example, a person breaking over their man for not having a job. And they've been together for 3 years. And he hasn't had a job for 3 years. Well, you knew they didn't have a job in 1 year. And you wasted 2 more. Like, what else has happened in the last years to make you decide that at year 3, this is the end result? That's the part that I get stuck in, is that people make these decisions. If you've had this discussion prior, here that the vaccination was a deal breaker and you knew the opposites, I would feel like it's wrong to think that the compromise is going to happen later. If it was a deal breaker in the very beginning, you should have just stopped. But to bring it up later on and then break up the relationship, it's kind of, I'm not a fan of that. And it's kind of it's kind of weird to do. If I don't like a person who's not of my same religion, I'm fine with it. And now, you find that out in the beginning. You don't wait 3 years to find out, oh my gosh, you don't believe what I believe? I'm real firm in that. I'm going to have to go. Just like getting married. People are like, I don't want to get married. I don't want to be monogamous. If you know these things in the beginning, they're your deal breakers. But to break up later on,
but it's what I need to hear.
You just wasted time.
I don't want anybody to sugarcoat anything. I love your
content. But you're not dating, though.
I'm dating. I'm actively on dating apps. I am putting
That's
myself
hookups.
out there.
I'm not saying she's hooking up, but
really aren't on dating apps. You do know that.
Those dating apps are like
hookup apps to go find some sex.
Yeah.
Well, maybe going out and maybe hiking or something like that.
See, this is
hiking isn't where the men's at.
31.
The men's
personal trainer, therapist, image consultant, matchmaker.
Yeah, at this age, it's gonna cost you. You need to be in shape. You need to get yourself back there. Image consultant, you need to know how to dressy. People, I've said in my last videos, there's nothing more attractive than a woman who's knowing she's beautiful and knowing she's elegant, dressed in like a beautiful, elegant, professional lady. What you see now is not that. You don't see that. You see, hey, I look beautiful. I have a nice, wonderful body. Let me advertise it to everybody. And if you don't like me advertising it to everybody, you're an issue. So the image consultant, the therapist is definitely going to be needed to get you people in their energy to where they should be and to get you communication and get to understand your issues. And then a matchmaker, somebody that you're going to have to pay that's going to kind of put you in front of the person you want to be put in front of. At 31 years old, if you're still talking about dating apps and all that, you don't know where to find a man. So you might have to pay somebody else to help with these connects. And if people will spend $40,000 to go to school for a degree that isn't going to make money, but yet they won't spend any money, $1,000 or $500 to even try to be put in front of a man that they want to be with.
You put all this money in the school, personal trainer, therapist,
boom,
image consultant, matchmaker.
I will see you soon.
Matchmaker is because you're not going to likely to find what you're looking for on dating apps, and you're running out of time. That's one of the things in my show is done more than anything else. I talk about time. And you ladies act like it all just works the first shot, and it doesn't.
No.
So, all right, appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin.
Have a good one. Bye-bye. I didn't make the biology of female. So, that's what I say about IVF. You hear women talk about freezing their eggs so often, but they never talk about the process. Like, I'll freeze my egg. All right, where's the man going to come along? He'll show up one day. Do you have that money? No. Well, and how's all this going to work? Yeah, it'll just work out somehow.
Kevin got some Megamind action going.
No, it won't. You got to put some thought to it. But that was a good conversation.
All right, everyone. So we're going to go ahead and conclude the video. I believe this, the things that I stated. I'm not a huge fan of freezing eggs if there's not a plan associated with it that leads to a more natural fertilization process. So if you're concerned about having kids in your 40s, so you freeze eggs and you're with somebody, that's one thing. Y'all can deal with whatever health risks or health issues that are associated with that. That's on you. But if you're saying, hey, I want to freeze my eggs because I'm having a hard time dating, that leaves open the option that I can still have kids without doing this. And especially if the dating is the only thing that kind of secures people to want to be able to have a family. And nowadays people think that the family, especially in the, my community, the family is mom and the kids. And that's not the family. Not the family includes the dude, the man being present in the family. So I believe that more focus needs to be on that. I'm not a huge fan of any of that. He did give her some good knowledge, kind of redirected her and put her in a better view of how her plans were not the best. She can make her own decisions at the very end, but I think this is another one. Mrs. Samuels, Kevin, knocked the nail down. All right, everyone, if you enjoyed this kind of content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and check out one of these two videos right here.